What's good, friends list, episode 20 of the Gamecast Gamecast coming at you. And with us now unofficially at the 1 year mark until the launch of both next generation home consoles, we decided it's time to put our money where our mouths are. This week, we decided to put together a metaphoric time capsule of bets in regards to the beginning of next gen, with what we expect, what we want, and what we don't want as we inch closer to those brand spanking new boxes. We cover everything from the actual hardware specs itself to the peripherals and gimmicks that usually accompany a new system at launch, and of course, everyone's favorite, the first crop of games we're going to get to see. Plus, fans of EA's acclaimed Skate franchise were in for a scare over the past week, but now it seems the situation may be much brighter than previously expected. Also, a lot of people play Minecraft, specifically in China. Shocker, right? We've got a breakdown of the new monstrous statistics regarding the crafting giant that you've just really got to hear. Another jam-packed episode coming up on the Game Pass Gamecast.
Now the fun begins.
Richard.
Stop! You violated the law.
Welcome back to another episode of the Game Pass Gamecast, your weekly go-to podcast for all things Xbox Game Pass, including news, rumors, and conversations around them video games, because guess what? Video games are cool, man. I am your host, as always, Travis White, aka Travis on most internet platforms. New episodes of the show drop each and every Friday morning on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and wherever you get them, all major podcast services. So be sure to subscribe to us whenever or wherever you get those. And follow us on Twitter at GPGC Podcast. Stay up to date with everything regarding the show and video games alike. As always, joining me, my partners in crime, Mike Peapack and Adam Marshy Marsh. Adam, spit me the truth, man. What's good? What's going on? And what have you been playing more importantly?
I am on my third playthrough of Fire Emblem now. I'm doing the Crimson Flower route. And
You got any of that Fire Emblem, man? You got any of that Fire Emblem?
And other than that, it's been some 7 Days to Die and a little bit of Age of Empires 3. Just heading back to revisit that for a bit.
Just to see if the draw to it's still there, because you got to think AoE 4.
I mean, AoE 2 Definitive looks pretty sick. I've been seeing it on stream a little bit.
True.
Does that come out this month?
It's already out, dude. Pretty sure it's already
Ooh.
out. It's like
I
full
should
release.
download that.
Adam's just like, all right, see you later. It's a two-man show today.
Yep.
I'm
Sorry,
out.
guys.
It's
I
been
think
real.
if you have HD on classic HD on Steam, you get a coupon for the Definitive.
Oh, word.
Yeet, as the kids say. I think that's what the kids still say. Yeet.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. I mean, it's obviously a pretty fucking stupid phrase, but you know, yeet.
It has its uses.
Yeah, I guess. Anyways,
What about you, Mike?
Ask me what I've been playing.
I was just wrapping up with Adam. It was kind of quick. Just fucking okay, Mike. What's good? What's going on? And what have you been playing?
I'm still playing Halo. I'm still playing poker. But I've also sprinkled in, I've been doing some of the missions for Ninja Gaiden Black and completing some of the more difficult boss fights that you get in the missions packs, where you can do karma runs and just like general speed runs on like beating the bosses and the added enemies. That's kind of like turning up the difficulty and playing through it regularly. But they have all those like crazy challenges in Ninja Gaiden Black that came with the game. That I've been trying to get through, and I want to beat them all, so
Right.
I've been starting slow and just working through some of them. But yeah, I mean, other than that, nothing that crazy.
Very cool.
How has the seems like the poker game has been very fruitful so far for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I played blackjack the other night for a while online and ran it up to like 800 bones or whatever. But yeah, I've been doing well in poker. I won a tournament. It was just like a $10 tournament, but still pretty legit.
Hey, that's
And
fun, man.
other than that, still playing, still grinding. Just trying to stay level-headed and keep my wits about me and just keep the grind going for poker and enjoying it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, it's something you still enjoy doing, and as long as you're smart financially about it, then, you can always play. Like, do they offer, is it, like, bare minimum, like, $5 entry for, like, do they have sit and go tables and stuff like that online, or is it just like
Yeah.
strictly like tournaments that you can buy in?
They have both. So they have cash games where you can just kind of buy in. They have as low as $2 buy-in, 1 cent, 2 cent. In the tournaments, they have as low as $1, but like they have up to like $100 or whatever. I usually sit in like the 1, the 3, the 5, and the $10 tournaments are the ones that I'll usually partake in. Just because of bankroll management, just trying to have a set amount for my poker money, and proper bankroll management dictates how much I can fire on certain tournaments and what chances I can take. So just using proper bankroll management and everything of that nature to protect myself from going bankrupt.
Yeah, no, for sure. And at the end of the day, like I was saying, as long as you're smart financially about it, it's something you obviously enjoy doing. You seem to be a real like student of the game type of thing. For years now, you've always been interested in the game and really learning the ins and outs of it, not just the quick hitting of just straight up blackjack or something like that. Like poker has always been a table game that you really have gravitated to for not just the straight up factor of winning money, but also something you're actually interested in learning the minutia about it.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm just saving up. Like right now, I'm trying to build my bankroll up, and I'm trying to get enough money to invest in a couple of. There's a couple of programs online that are done by poker pros that'll teach you a lot about the game, and they'll usually have like a $700 dollar sign in front of them for like the basic classes. Then they have master classes that can be anywhere up to like $1,300. But basically, you'll get a program that you can calculate flop odds and things of that nature with, and then they'll also give you like walkthroughs on situations and how to calculate the best decision for you financially, and just in general, like what's the best decision in this situation. Just tries to keep you winning online poker, and even live poker. It just tries to keep you working and winning at the game. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, at the end of the day, you're still enjoying it, and you're also being smart with it. So it seems like so far so good with the online poker being accessible here in PA for you. So on my end, though, this past weekend, and really week, I guess, for the most part, it's been Death Stranding for me on my end. Been pretty balls deep into it. I put, I think, like a little over 15 hours in this weekend. Nothing crazy, but like that was the game. Anytime, like I had to work on Saturday, so anytime I had free time, I was playing that. It really started off slow. I have a thread on Twitter. I know this is an Xbox show, so I won't really hang on it too long, but it will be coming to PC, so I think maybe down the road, that'll be something maybe we could talk about if more people in our community, I guess, really end up buying that on PC. That may be something I look into doing a spoiler cast or something like that with, but I'm really enjoying my time. Once it starts out very slow, but once it gets going, it really opened up, and I'm really finding my hooks in it. It's got hooks into me, I mean, with the gameplay loop that's offered with it. So I'm enjoying it. Outside of that, though, I didn't mention it last week on the show just because I literally got access to it like the day before we started, or the day before we recorded, so really wasn't justifiable for me to really give any impressions on.
Sure, yeah.
But I've been playing the PC build of MCC, Halo Master Chief Collection, playing Reach on there. I got an invite to the Insider program for PC for the past. It's actually been a 2-week stretch for the most part with it. So I only have about maybe probably 4 hours closer in the game, but dozens of multiplayer games across different stretches of playlists and different things like that. I played some competitive, played a lot of social matchmaking just to get a feel of it. And they've been rotating the playlist kind of on and off with different things. Like today, hopped on for like 45 minutes before we jumped in and started recording, and it was just straight up Infection. And it is what it is. Like, you can't take it too serious, but it was fun how it is. My biggest complaint with this is there needs to be something before the final build's put out. Something needs to be done with shot registration. It's really delayed. I mean, really, really. And normally I'm either like, okay, I just suck because I'm not good at Halo. I just love playing Halo. It's just fun. That's my type of shooter to play. But it's not my internet connection. My ping's great. My up-down for where we live is a very stable, good connection, good enough to play any kind of online matchmaking with very comfortably. It's not, dial-up speed or anything. But my bandwidth's good. All of that. it's very much seems to be something with the PC build that it seems like it's being addressed, or it's at least known. But
It
it's
was
very
kind of like that when I played it on Xbox. Not gonna lie, that it left something to be desired connection wise. That's for sure.
yeah, it was very much like, and not just me being like, well, I fucking tagged that guy, dead center with 2 sniper shots, like easily downed. It'd be like, I'm running, I'll hear the gun, like somebody's shoot me, I'll hear the shot, and it's like 3 seconds later, I'm down. And it's like, okay, like I'm like halfway across the map at that point, and now the shot's registering. Like something is very much like, just something on the back end needs to be done with it. I'm not familiar with the networking end of how that works, but it just, I'm sure it's something with the servers that need adjusted. I don't know, but that's the big glaring issue. Everything else is awesome. The 60 frames per second on PC is amazing. It feels great. I hope they do offer, at least with the final build, to be able to unlock that and see what people can do with, 120 or whatever. If not, 60 frames is more than great, especially on PC. It feels very natural. I hate that it's Reach that we're going with first, but even though it is one of the best campaigns out there, at the end of the day, I'm probably going to, if I'm playing this on PC, I'm going to play the campaigns usually on console, because that's a much more cinematic and traditional approach to the campaigns for me. If I'm playing multiplayer, I'd want to play on PC because I like playing any FPS on PC. But in general, it's still, everything feels great about it. Silky smooth. It's awesome. It's just the shot registration. That's the biggest thing. So, and that seems like it's something that could be, in theory, fixed on the back end pretty easily. But I know, Mike, you've had qualms with 343 in the past, as a lot of people have, especially given multiplayer. So, fingers crossed, we'll see. But I think they've at least been very vocal in recent years, especially since announcing that they're going to fix MCC, or at least quote-unquote fix, and also to bring it to PC and building up towards Infinite. They really seem like they're trying to get the best will of the fans out there, so...
Yeah, I think they are really trying to make a serious, I guess the proper way to put it would be like make a serious attempt at repairing their image with the community, because they had a really long blog post recently, and this didn't make it into the news, and I didn't really, attach it in our little show notes or anything, because it's more personalized just for something that I'm interested in. But Tashi, the competitive director over at 343, did put out a really long blog post kind of giving us a little bit of a roadmap of what to expect going forward with the Halo Championship Series, including the fact that they're going to go to a 1-year-long scheduled, way ahead of time roadmap, where it's going to be certain cities, certain dates, whatever. We're going to have that information a long time ahead of when the season actually begins. So it's going to go back more to a traditional MLG feel, where we're going to be able to just plan like, hey, we know we're going to Orlando in this month in January, and then we know in March we're going to Atlanta, and then in June we're going to Dallas. Like, he kind of promised that that's what competitive Halo is going to go to, which is, a nice thing for all the competitive players. And I think
refreshing.
Really,
it's definitely refreshing, because that's literally what you need to do for modern esports. If you want to be like, that's just part of the foundation basis for modern esports. Generally, just being vocal and being upfront and having a roadmap of things that are happening.
Absolutely. And let's just say, even if we're talking about playing Halo 3 or even Halo Reach, in this next year, you got to give people like me and everyone who's interested in the game, like, if anybody wants to dip their toe in the water, you don't give anybody redeeming quality for diving into Halo right now, because we have one event every few months. It's not announced until maybe a month and a half before. So a lot of the young talents have gone on to Call of Duty because they know what to expect from that game. We're losing talent left and right from the Halo community because they're going to greener pastures, if you will, and going somewhere where it's more stable, and they know what to expect from the tournament organizers, and they know what to expect from the game. Yeah. And obviously the prize pool money is a big thing, but until Halo does something like they're trying to do now, that's going to keep happening. And you're not giving new blood a reason to compete in your game. You're just not. There's no reason for anyone new to start playing Halo, because the money's not there, the production value's not there, and the support from the devs just isn't there. It's all, being run by grassroots organizers, which is awesome that there's still people doing that, but I would like to see 343 get more involved with that. And hopefully the release of Reach on PC will kind of, be a stepping stone that they kind of step up to the plate and do the right thing by the game,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So, fingers crossed. So far, so good. I loved everything minus the shot detection with MCC on PC. I don't know how much longer this flight is going. I know they extended it by a week. I'm guessing it's going to wrap up any day now, but so far, so good. I'm excited to see what the final product's going to be, and hopefully, knock on wood, we get some kind of release date, at least for Reach, or at least release window here relatively soon. So, guys, before we head into the news, we're talking our free game giveaway. A little housekeeping before we get in here. Do you like free games? Stupid question, Travis. Of course you do. Of course everyone does. So let us help with that. We're giving away a brand new free game of your choice on any console. So it could be Death Stranding for PS4, whatever you want. I don't really care. I will hook you up to one lucky listener, and all you have to do is the following. Follow us on Twitter at GPGC Podcast and retweet the pinned tweet on our profile and make sure you're listening to the show to know when you've won. That's it. Really easy. Keep it simple, stupid. Once we hit our goal, we'll pull a winner, and someone will get squared away with a game. So head on over to at GPGC Podcast today and enter. All right, heading into the news for this week. Kind of news over the weekend starting out here. Not sure if you guys heard about this, but at first it was reported that EA basically abandoned the Skate trademark. The Skate series, the trademark for it, they basically supposedly abandoned it. We do have an update to that, but let me read you the original story. This is coming from Adam Bankhurst via IGN. The original story reads like this. Electronic Arts has abandoned its trademark for Skate, which is not the best news for those hoping for a return of the skateboarding series that hasn't had a new entry since 2010 Skate 3. As reported by VG247, a U.S. Patent and Trademark Office listing has revealed that of August 1st, 2019, EA had abandoned its trademark for Skate. The last time EA re-upped the trademark was on February 16th, 2018. Thanks to Games Radar, the trademark page on legal resource site Justia shows that the trademark was abandoned due to failure to respond or late response. But we do have an update though, and it is at least good news if you are a fan of the Skate series. So, update. The Skate trademark originally reported was not abandoned. As VG247 reports, the reason the February trademark was abandoned is because EA filed for another one in June of this year. Apparently, the publisher filed for a renewal of the original trademark. So, after all that, as someone who, straight up adored the Skate franchise last gen, Skate 1 was one of those mind-blowing games. It was the first time I, saw in a long time that, wow, we're getting an actual transformation of the sports genre, and we're getting the ability to actually slow down time, move your skateboard, as somebody who loved skateboarding growing up, move your board in precise motions to actually pull off realistic tricks and actual, street-level tricks, because I was always more of a street skater than a vert. It was really refreshing to have something like that. So I've been holding out hope for far too long on EA releasing another entry in the series, or hell, even a remaster. But when the first story broke, at least, it looked like that was a sure thing, that it was not happening. All my fears were confirmed, but now it seems like there's at least a sliver of hope. So the question is simple. I'm prosing. Do we see a Skate 4 in the future anytime soon? Or even with the trademark still being owned, has that ship far sailed for EA?
I think it's another situation where we see the amount of money that EA has where they can just sit on a game like this and just not do anything with it if they really don't want to. I would love to think that as a businessman, you wouldn't just waste your money on a trademark to just let it die or not do anything with it. So I do think that we will see a new Skate game at some point in time. Maybe they're trying to decide if they're going to wait till the next gen at this point, because, you're getting close to the situation where you're going to have the new gen consoles coming out. So I don't think it's probably going to be a situation where we might see it next gen. And it might not be that soon, unfortunately, for those out there that are huge fans of the series.
Yeah. And they announced that, I remember, I think was it this past E3 briefing from Xbox? They announced that skateboarding game that's coming out that seemed like everyone at first was like, holy fuck, they're announcing Skate 4, and then it ended up being something different. It looks pretty dope. It still looks like a sim-styled skateboarding game, but if you ask me, I think it's all but sailed. The ship has pretty much sailed. I'll say this, though. Two things. One, I'm sure a remaster is not out of the question, or at least bare minimum the ability to, when we get to Project Scarlett next year, even PS5, we'll probably see a re-release at bare minimum, or the backwards compatibility carryover, because you still can play at, I think it's Skate 3, the one that is backwards compatible, that you're still able to play that on modern consoles. So it may be one of those situations where we'll see a re-release of just that base game, like Walmart has or whatever in their new game section, where it's like $10 or whatever. I could see something like that. But I'll say this. I'm curious to see how well... Now, I think it will sell well just because of the IP, but I think actually a lot rests on Jedi Fallen Order, the new Star Wars game coming out this week, because it's such a non-traditional EA game that there's no microtransactions, there's no pay-to-win-esque model that you find in a lot of EA modern titles, especially with big IPs like that. I'll say this, I'm curious to see how well that does with that model, because if they find success in that of just straight-up game sales and different things like that, word of mouth, and a lot of buzz on the internet about the game, especially carrying into the new Star Wars, I actually think there may be more hope. Just because it's such a non-traditional thing for EA, and Skate 4 would be very non-traditional from EA. You would have your basic, cosmetics or whatever like that, but it would be a lot harder to set up and try to do that, because a lot of people would want a very traditional skate game where, Madden or NBA or whatever they put out, these sports titles, they're so formulaic that you're basically just buying a roster update every year. Skate 4 is not like that. It would be a from-the-ground-up type of situation. So it's one of those, it's a new endeavor that they would have to take that is uncharted territory for them for really the past 10 years now since Skate 3. So, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's the ship sailed, but fingers crossed. I'll always take another Skate game because they're just fucking awesome. They're one of the coolest sports games out there, and we need more skateboarding games. I think we could always use that, because that's with Tony Hawk. What was that? Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, I think, was the one they put out that was just hot dumpster trash. It was I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was like the A button and grind or jump and grind were both binded to the same button input. So people would try to grind on stuff and they would just instantly just wreck every time. The game was just very poorly optimized. There was a lot of clipping through things and stuff like that. It was very much like the WWE 2K20 of skateboarding games. It was very bad, but
shots fired.
Yeah, very much so. Shots fired. I don't think that's reaching saying that. So, moving into our next one here before we head into our big topic for the week, and Adam will be able to chime in on this one. Minecraft closes in on 300 million registered accounts in China. Holy fuck. So, this comes from Matthew Hannerhan at gamesindustry.biz. Matt says, Minecraft has almost 300 million registered accounts in China, according to Nyko Partners analyst Daniel Ahmad. The number was released at an event held by NetEase, which publishes Minecraft in China. Speaking on Twitter, Ahmad noted that the game is free to play on both PC and mobile in the country. Outside of China, Minecraft has sold 180 million paid units, and it now has a total of 112 million monthly active users worldwide. The growth of Minecraft in China has been rapid, to say the least. It launched in 2017 and reached 100 million downloads in less than a year, added another 50 million the following 5 months, and another 50 million by May this year. Remarkably, this new figure suggests that it has gained another 100 million players in just 6 months. It has also added another 22 million monthly average users since October 2018. So, Adam, we talked briefly on Minecraft's astronomical player base, both in and out of North America in our Minecraft-centered episode, which you can check out on both our YouTube channel and anywhere you get a podcast at earlier this year. But 300 million fucking registered users in China alone is just asinine. To put that in context, the U.S. population for 2018 was 327.2 million. So imagine about 92% of our population having a Minecraft account. Like, your boss, your 1-year-old little cousin or whatever, like, oh no, they got a Minecraft account. We're starting them early. So, do you think we'll ever see a change to the Minecraft formula in the next 10 years? Or does this system just stay status quo until the wheels fall off, if really they ever do?
I think we're leaning more towards the second the second case. So like I think we might have talked about some of their experiments in doing spin-off games.
Yeah,
and
a
side
little
games.
bit.
They've got that dungeon crawler coming out. They did Minecraft story mode. They have a mobile version, which is not fully feature complete with the normal PC and console builds. The console builds are mostly feature complete now.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've spent so much time bringing the Bedrock edition, They've spent so much time bringing the Bedrock edition, the Microsoft version of the game, basically bringing that code base up to date and getting it to a point of parity with the Java edition. I don't think they're going to start from scratch anytime soon. I think the core game is going to mostly stay the way it is with the same incremental updates we've been seeing for years. I would be very surprised if they decided to overhaul the whole thing or try to redefine the experience at this point. It seems like the game is pretty much like met with wild success because it's good, and it almost feels timeless.
Right.
So
yeah,
why?
I mean, what would you even see from a change in Minecraft? Like, how would you even really change the formula for it unless you're really like overhauling the whole art style or something like that?
I think it would have to be something like changing the way the worlds are generated, changing the whole like tech tree of Minecraft, maybe change the way you craft stuff. Like those are foundational systems that you could look at retooling to come up with a different experience.
Yeah. I mean, I've never gone like super balls deep into Minecraft. I'll get on and we'll have a server like you'll put up and you, Mike, Kyle, we'll all dick around and watch Kyle try to like banana in the tailpipe us for some fucking reason. Even though he's been dedicated. The last time we played, like the last little stretch that we played, he was very dedicated to like getting it done. I was kind of the one like dicking him around a little bit, but
you should see the lighthouse we built recently.
We may have to jump back into that, but like I've never stuck around a long time in Minecraft. I don't know why. Like I like crafting games, but it's one of those that like it's almost like the Family Guy episode with James Woods where he'll be like doing something and he'll be like, "Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy." I'll get like distracted, like where I'll go off and do like 10 other things, and mostly just to, I guess, break up the monotony. I don't know if it's just me that like that pull from crafting games doesn't really stick with me, but like I'd love to see at the same time something a little bit different from Minecraft just to change it up a little bit. But then there's part of me that's just like, when I do want that experience, I'm not going to go anywhere else besides Minecraft for the most part. Like there are some games like 7 Days to Die that really scratches a certain itch for me that when we get a group going, totally love it. It's fun zombie killing. It's fun where you actually are able to see the resources you're getting and the looting you're doing, and the actual survival aspects of it really, I think, are much more rewarding than a ton of different crafting survival games. But but Minecraft's always one of those, it's just old reliable. It's always there. It'll always be that great polished experience if you want the crafting experience, and it's also so approachable too. Like it's one of those games for it really, if you want to give to somebody who doesn't play games and you're like, just go up here, cut down a tree. Like, you could help me do this. Like, you don't need to know this is hit and this is move. That's it. You really need to know it, bare minimum. So, but I don't know. We'll see. It's really interesting, especially heading into next gen with Microsoft, and it's just crazy. Mojang is a Microsoft-owned studio now. Like, it is. Granted, they'll be doing Minecraft only, I'm sure, until the apocalypse happens, but even after that, we may get the aliens who invade and they're like, "Oh fuck, y'all got Minecraft down here too, man, let's get it." So where's that shiny pickaxe at? So but yeah, I don't think we'll ever see it. I would like to see something different, but at the same time, if they don't change anything, I'll still go back to it whenever you guys are like, let's dive back in. Let's start the server up. I'll be like, yeah, all right, let's go. Fuck it. Let's get in. So, guys, let's head into our big topic of the week. And I thought this was kind of interesting because it didn't really hit me until I was kind of looking at the lineup of games that are coming out over the next 6 months or so, planning out, okay, like I have this to look forward to, But then I thought, I'm like, fuck, we are literally pretty much 1 year out from next gen consoles coming out, or quote unquote the next gen of consoles, because it's so, the lines are so blurred anymore. But really, we are officially like a year out, give or take, a few days or a week or whatever, from next gen consoles, Xbox Scarlett, and really PlayStation 5. So, and even though we've seen really tidbits of those with some solidified info, but nothing really major, though, at the same time. There's a ton left to be known. So I'm thinking today, we make our own little virtual time capsule, or even if you want to look at them as bets. So I want to talk about what we expect, what we want, and what we don't want to see with the launch of Xbox Scarlett, or the next gen of consoles, really. You could look at it, most of this could be said about PS5, but since we're primarily an Xbox-focused show, let's stick to Team Green for this time being, which, to me, we've kind of heard, I think, not solidified info, where Sony's been more, hey, we're using this SSD, we're doing this and this, where we're having more statistical stuff from Sony, but Xbox been like, yo, you're going to be able to scale to 8K, you're going to be able to push 120 frames on the base unit that we give out or whatever, so more of the flashy numbers. So I'd like to put down some, really bets, if you want to call them, on what we're going to see. So we're going to break it down into 5 categories, guys. We're going to go with the actual system hardware, specs, processing power, GPU capabilities, performance, stuff like that. Features / gimmicks, think of the Switch's portability, or for fuck's sake, the Xbox One's Kinect that you were forced to buy. God,
yeah, baby.
Loves
the Kinect.
That was such a painful experience whenever they launched that, and my dumbass, whenever I went to get my Xbox One a month or so after it launched, I remember going to and thinking oh, they gotta have one without the Kinect or whatever. Nope. No, you gotta buy the fucking Kinect. That was me being whew, really? Do I have to? Really? Do I have to buy one with the Kinect? I just left it in the box because there was no use for it. But anyways, getting off topic. We're also going to do services. So, just any of the various services that are possible with the system. Streaming, Xbox Game Pass we could put into there, things of that nature. Controller, what kind of features, quality build, everything like that with the controller. And the big one that I think people want to talk about and want to hear, the big fish in the pond, the launch window games. So, and this is up to you guys. We're talking launch window. It's obviously from, the date the system launches. I think of it to 6 months, but I'm willing to do a year. What's the first year of games worth that we could expect, want to see, or don't want to see type of thing? What do you guys think in terms of that? You thinking 6 months is good enough, or do we want to stretch it to a year?
I don't know. 6 months is getting out there a little bit. I could do it though. I mean, either way, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
What do you think, Adam?
I think the longer the better. I mean, I'm still trying to catch up on this generation.
Mm-hmm. So how about this? We'll just do the first year. Instead of for launch window, we'll just do what do we expect or hope or don't want to see in the first year of games, or, what kind of quality, I guess you could say. So basically, for each of these categories, I want to hear at least one expectation, one want, and one don't for each category, and why, obviously, on each one of them. And we'll break down the list at the end and put it all together, so we have something to look back on as we start to see the systems kind of officially been shown off. So, and bets with the panelists are allowed and sometimes even encouraged. So if I throw something out there and you want to say you want to bet, a Jimmy's Cuck Pie on it, I'll be like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'll bet that. So stuff like that's encouraged. Sound good?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
All right. So let's start it off here. We're going to start off with the actual system hardware. Mike, I'm going to kick it to you first. What is something you just expect to see with Xbox Scarlett at launch?
Hardware wise, obviously, correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't done as much research on it as I probably should, being on an Xbox podcast. Is it something that this is the system that they have paired up with AMD? Is that correct? Or
Yes, both.
Okay.
Really, PS5 and Xbox Scarlett, from what I've heard, both are going to be AMD builds in general.
Okay. I mean, it's going to have a computer processor in it, just like, all of the systems have nowadays. But I think you could actually get up into the neighborhood of actually getting up into a Ryzen 8 core processor in the actual Xbox Scarlett, maybe even more. So I'd say definitely going to have a pretty solid processor in it. As far as price point, I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to at least have an 8-core processor, maybe even 12-core. So that's probably my guesstimation for that.
Let me see. They're saying the processor is going to be a custom AMD Zen 2 based CPU.
Okay.
So, and then graphics are going to be custom AMD Navi based GPU.
Okay.
So, Adam, what are you thinking, man?
I mean, first of all, I want to say big missed opportunity to put 10 cores in the system because it's an Xbox. Roman numeral X is. But
this guy.
But jokes aside, I think we're obviously going to be seeing 4K graphics capabilities, and it's probably going to start pushing 8K.
Yeah,
similar to the way
that they came out and say it's going to be both consoles. Really, I guess both are going to be scalable to 8K when applicable, obviously.
Right, because I mean we've seen scaling up to 4K this generation. They're gonna bump it out one more level for the next one.
Yeah.
Don't have too much more to add there. Hopefully we're still gonna have an onboard hard drive and everything's not gonna be streamed. Hopefully we're still gonna have a Blu-ray reader, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was whenever before. I mean, even now we still don't have exactly what's going to be the physical box or what is truly going to be in it or what is going to be truly offered right off the bat from really any end. But the long running rumor for a while, or the insider information, was next gen Xbox was going to launch with 2 different SKUs where they were going to have the beefy Project Scarlett that we see here that they're touting. We're going to have 120 frames per second possible on console, and it scales to 8K, and we're going to have this beefy processor in it and GPU for a console. It's going to be wild. But then they were also going to offer pretty much like a bare bones option in terms of you can get in and still play all of these exclusive things, but it's going to be a streaming box. So that was the big thing that was going around, saying a lot of different Windows and Xbox Central based publications were kind of zoning in, saying, no, this is what we're hearing. It's going to be, they're going to have 2 SKUs at launch. Now they're saying that isn't the case, and it seems like Xbox has basically abandoned that. I'm thinking it's probably the tech isn't there yet, or at least they don't think the tech, what they're offering, is going to be justifiable. Or, I mean, consoles usually when they launch, it's usually they're taking a loss on the console and they'll make up the money on the games. But they probably also thought, wow, we're really losing a lot of money. It just wasn't justifiable to make it,
right,
at least at this point. So, but yeah, that was the long-standing thing. I'm in the same camp as you. I definitely don't want to see that. That's my don't as well. I don't want to see anything streaming related in terms of this is your force to go this route. This is what you have to do. Because I'm still I always talk about, I'm still a physical media whore to an extent. I like collecting. I bought Death Stranding. I picked it up at 9 p.m. Thursday. When you could officially go and pick it up. And I bought the $10 extra Steelbook edition just because, I like collecting the bigger games like that. Now, granted, I still do buy, PC. I buy all my games fucking digital because that's the only way you can get it. But on the Switch even, I do buy a lot of physical stuff, but I buy a lot of digital indies, and I buy a lot of digital stuff on both the Xbox Store and PSN. It's just, for stuff like that, it's too good of a deal not to at times. But my biggest worry is still, what if all those services just get shut down one day? Or what if PSN drops? Or kind of like what we're seeing with Nintendo Switch right now, that a lot of these people who bought all this stuff on the Virtual Console on Wii U, similar to what they did on the Wii, at least with the Wii, they were able to transfer those stuff over, even for a minimal fee or whatever.
Yeah.
They're all these games that they bought at one point, like A Link to the Past, and God knows, buying another copy of Super Mario Brothers on there. It's still stuff they bought and it's stuck there, and now they can't get it on there. And what if all that stuff just now goes away? Almost similar to like the whole fiasco with Pokemon and transferring their Pokemon that they had through, what is it, the bank, I believe that is. Like, people have been able to...
Home, maybe?
Home, that's what
it
it is.
Bank, yeah.
That you've been able to transfer Pokemon since, like, GBA days. So, like, I get it. Like, my biggest fear, though, is, like, what if that shit goes away? Then it's like all these games that I had bought online at one point are now gone. And I'm not getting anything back for it. So, that's my biggest fear, of at least. I still want to have, like, a physical disc at times, or an option, too. If there's a game I really want, Halo Infinite, I'm still probably going to go buy the collector's edition, because that's a game that I'm really looking forward to. Elder Scrolls 6, if that ever launches, like when I'll be like in the delivery room getting ready for my fiance to have our kid in 10 years, and like I'll be like, but Elder Scrolls 6 is finally coming out, so I gotta go pick up my pre-order for the collector's edition. I'll be right back. Just hold it in for like a couple seconds.
Just hold them in.
Yeah, just bite down real hard. And then at that point, I'll get hit with like a fucking like throwing axe or something like that in the head. So,
rightfully so.
Right, very much. Oh my god! At that point, like there would not be having any other children, because I wouldn't have the physical means to be able to have any more children if something like that happened. So, to say the least. But yeah, I don't want to see that. So my expect though, and this is something I expected really, at bare minimum, for the like half-gen refresh we got with Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, these like higher end systems, 60 frames per second needs to be the minimum. Like frame lock 60 frames per second on these titles coming out. Like, and that's like, and normally that falls on the dev to really push that, because here's Xbox, here's PlayStation, here's Nintendo or whatever, giving you the hardware, here's your dev kit, master what is on here, what you're able to physically do on this box. So it's not Xbox or Microsoft or Sony or anybody saying, hey, we have to hit this. And sometimes they do. Like, I'm sure for Halo Master Chief Collection, the one thing they were saying, like, you need to make sure all this stuff is put out at 60 frames per second. Because that was such a big sticking feature with that. I'm sure they wanted to push that. Especially whenever, at least, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, like, I remember when they were showing off that game, and on the E3 stage, they had their pro team out there that they were really pushing behind this, saying, we want to build this to actually have a competitive base. Obviously, that didn't work out right at the beginning, but that was something that they wanted, and they pushed for, like, we need to, if we want to play this game competitively, it needs to be at 60 frames per second, bar none.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely something that, they were hoping for and they were pushing for. And
really they did. I mean, for the most part, it really, outside of like, you're playing on Zanzibar or something where it chugs like a fucking train, it's, the rest of it's pretty good, or at least gets damn near close. But at the same time, like, my big thing is, that's great that you're pushing. You see Microsoft saying, hey, we could hit up to, 4K 120 and all this stuff. Okay, we'll make it consistent. Do me this, lock it, if you can do 1080 60 and lock that in, because there's a lot of like lower end PCs that can do 1080 60 no problem at this point. The text there where it's like you're paying basically as much, maybe even less, than a lot of these consoles, and they're doing a much better performance. Granted, it's because it's scalable and different things like that, and you could have more hands-on with how you want to scale your experience, but at the same time, like, if it's still putting out 1080 and it's still doing 60, like, and it's like basically a locked 60 for the most part, you could do that at a much better price point with a PC, and obviously different experiences, what have you. But Microsoft always pushes, especially Microsoft, they've been pushing this PC experience with Xbox One X, with the way they're approaching next gen, saying, hey, we're building this beefy console that you're going to be able to do all this stuff on. It's scalable, this and that. Okay, we'll back it up and at least do the bare minimum of pushing your devs that you, at least with your first party studios, all of your games at least need to run 1080 60, because there have been times this past gen that even though the tech's been there, I just think it fell on the dev to, we're more worried about the resolution than we're getting out than the stability of the frame rate. And to me, I just expect it to be, at this point, we need to be at 60 frames per second.
Maybe that's Call of Duty does not run 60 frames. I mean, this has been chronicled. I've talked about this at length with our review. But yeah, I mean, that's a game that comes to mind when it's like, yeah, should it really be 60 frames per second? Obviously, duh, but it's not. It doesn't even come close for me over half the games. Never is it even close to that.
No, 100%.
That's a problem. I'm spending $60 on a AAA title, and I have a system that a lot of people have. It should be running better.
Right, especially too, like, base Xbox One consoles, for quite a while, like, they struggled to output to, like, 1080, and, like, a lot of games were really, a lot of games were really running at, like, 720. You just wouldn't see it. On the back end, they'd be switching your settings and having it run at 720 just to be able to run it well, and it's mostly because it's not necessarily optimized the game end. So I just hope Microsoft would take a stand to kind of say, hey, if we're touting all of this, we want you to at least get to this point because we're wanting to offer a scalable experience, a PC-esque experience, at least in my end. That's what I'm picking up from what they're saying. So, but more of a want, at least on my end. I expect that stuff, but more of a want on my end. In the same vein, like, I want to have more accessibility and scalability with the consoles, like I'm talking about in a PC performance. Like, I would love to be able to go into the back end of my console and in the, like, settings menu and stuff like that, and really tool with some of the things that I'm able to do. If I wanted to overclock my my CPU in there, I could do it. I have the option to. It's my Xbox or whatever, you know, or at least have more than just a blanket performance mode that a lot of them have built in that you could turn on and off. More or less, if they're offering or if they're approaching, like I said, a more PC experience with Scarlett, or at least the Scarlett family possibly, that I'd love to see them actually, like, back that up with a very much so. If you want to get in there, here it is. Here's the actual innards of, you know, from at least a software end, you can go in and do, not actually open up the box, because then that really gets into your warranty and whatnot, and, you know, stay away from that. But more or less, them giving you more options to tinker with the box you have. I don't think we'll see it, but it would be nice. It'd be cool. But anyways, moving on, features, gimmicks. So we're talking, like, you know, the Switch's portability, or unfortunately, again, the Xbox One's Connect, which, you know what's weird? Like, I don't know if you guys saw this. There was I think it was on Reddit I saw it. Somebody posted that, like, there's, like, Walmarts and, like, different retail stores that actually use those Connect for, like, security cameras.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I shit you not. I shit you not. I'll have to try to find it. If I find it, I'll make sure I throw it in the description of the show wherever you get it. But it was, like, crazy. The one, some guy just took a picture of, like, that's a fucking Xbox One Connect that's just hanging up there. Like, the tech in the Connect actually was pretty, like, crazy when you look at it. The things it was able to pick up with the camera that was built into it, but it was just kind of fucking nonsense, if you ask me. So on my end, I'll just, since I kind of rolled into it, I expect there not to be any peripherals, and kind of like with Xbox Scarlett, at least, for two reasons, like gimmicky style peripherals like the Kinect. And this is for two reasons. One, obviously the backlash they faced, kind of forcing you to buy the Kinect, that, like, I think it was, what was it, like 6 months later, like by the time you bought your Xbox One, Mike, they just stopped doing that. They were like, you could buy it without the Kinect now, because you bought yours without the Kinect, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, yeah. So they obviously heard the backlash from that. But also too, like I keep talking about, they're focused on high-end gaming, like a PC approach, that they don't need that stuff. Like, sure, you know, I would hope there'd be an option for VR down the road if they want to kind of upgrade what they have there. Kind of like what PS4 did with both their base model and Pro model. They were able to integrate VR into it via, you know, another peripheral that you buy with, you know, the processing unit for that was, you know, you bought it in the package, it came with it on top of the VR headset, but it was expandable. Like, you were able to add on to that, not, at launch. That's okay with me. I'm cool with that. But like, I just can't. It doesn't fit with their wording. It doesn't fit with their marketing. It doesn't fit with anything that they're doing and the way that they're kind of pushing towards getting back into being the game console first and foremost. The game console that you want to buy, not the Xbox One, the all-in-one entertainment box. Like
Yeah.
no, I could watch Netflix on whatever. So it's like they're more worried about here's we want you to play games here. You can get all your games on Game Pass. We can do all this. We've got the most powerful console in the world coming out right now. Here you go. Like, play games on it. So I just fully expect them not to have a peripheral with it. So what do you guys think? What are, give me your wants, expectations, whatever have you, and really your don'ts if you don't want to see stuff. Adam, kick us off here.
I don't think Microsoft has the creativity to come up with like a good gimmick that's not just aping from another console.
They're not Nintendo. Like, at the end of the day, Nintendo to me is the only one who can.
I mean, neither is Sony. Like, they have a VR thing going on, so
which is profitable and it's good. Like, people like it and it is justifiable and people are buying it and liking it. Like, they're seeing growth with that.
Yeah, so if anything, I think that would be the one direction that the Xbox could go.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Nintendo. They're not playing around with their control schemes or their form factor. I mean, neither is Sony, really. They were the first of the big three to go to VR, and they followed the Wii with the Move stuff. So, like, neither of them are really big innovators on those kind of gimmicks. But I think it would be interesting to see a Microsoft VR, because we could get, I mean, if you started getting compatibility from a bunch of games in their back catalog, like, I don't know if you've played Alien Isolation or seen any of that stuff.
I started playing it. Great game.
Shit like that would be pretty amazing. So that'd be cool. That'd be something I would like to see.
I'll still, to this day, and I think I said it last week on the show when we were talking about our top games from the past decade, I still think Resident Evil 7, the way that they implemented VR into that game should be not the standard, but that should be what you aim for. If you're doing a VR, like a VR mode or extension of your game, and it's, built in a way like Resident Evil 7, where it's a first-person shooter, or kind of like Skyrim did, but I think Resident Evil 7, the polish and the presentation and the accessibility while playing that were just bar none the best experience. Like, that's the bar. Here's the bar. Look at that. That should be shown to anybody who is designing large-scale VR games, I guess. Not necessarily the smaller VR titles, which, like, maybe like Tetris Effect or something like that, which are great, but more of this is a large-scale experience, your Skyrims, your Fallout 4 VR. Like, look at what they did. The polish and everything that goes on with this, aim for this. This should be the standard. So, but I agree. I agree with that. Also, too, I found the fucking Xbox Connect thing. Here, I'll send it over in Discord. It's like, it still has the fucking Xbox logo on it. Like, look at that fucker.
Oh my god.
Like, it just
they probably just like repurposed the demo like Xbox Ones they had or whatever.
Oh yeah,
is what I'm guessing.
Well, that's actually,
what I mean? Like,
that's actually, now looking at this, that's TSA. TSA is now using Xbox One Connects for surveillance in the Newark airport. Good job, tech. Slow clap, Microsoft. And then the next fucking tweet that the guy puts out, they still have the Xbox logo, by the way.
Yeah, there it is.
Just fucking zoomed in on it. That's great.
I have to imagine there was just a surplus of these,
God. Yeah,
cheap, unwanted shit. Yeah.
Like, I found mine like a year ago, like buried beneath like all the like wires and shit that I have, like in like my kind of random tech like little bundle thing in the back of my room. Like, and I found it all just like underneath there, covered in dust, and I'm just like, well, this was a thing at one point. Like, they still have the fucking, like, in the Xbox One or One S and X's, I believe they still have the, I can't remember what the like plug is for it. I can't remember what it even is, the tech for it, or that you plug in for it. It's not USB, so, but it just baffles my mind that was still a fucking thing, like a forced thing. Like, you gotta have this. So, Adam, anything else to add before we move on to Mike?
Nothing else there.
All right, Mike, hit me with it. What would you expect, want, or don't want to see when we're talking features, gimmicks, stuff like that with Xbox?
Yeah,
Next gen.
I mean, basically for me, what I want to see is just like crossplay with PC.
Mm-hmm.
I basically think like if you shell out the money for Xbox Scarlett, you should be able to just plug your mouse and keyboard in and play against like PC players on like this in basically almost a similar way. It depends on the price point.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you've heard some rumblings that it's not going to be that expensive, so I don't know if that's that realistic. You know what I mean?
Actually,
But-
here, I want to hear from you guys too, since you just hit on that and we're right here. From the hip, what do you guys think? What price point are we looking at for both next gen consoles? Because I think they're both going to launch, and they're both going to be the same price point. What do you guys think? I think $500, like $499, is going to be the sweet spot. I don't think
That's
it goes.
what I was thinking too.
I don't think it goes over that. I don't think it goes under that though, because I think with the tech that they're putting in, it'd be a loss as it is already, but I think it'd be a much, much bigger loss, like, than what they're looking at on a spreadsheet. Mike, what do you think?
I think you said 900. If I can.
Oh no,
just double
I
check
said
my-
$499.
$499
500,
for Xbox Scarlett
yeah.
or the base model of Xbox.
Just what? Because I think it's only going to be one SKU that they're putting out now. I don't
Okay,
think they're
sure.
doing that 2 SKU middle. Because originally I had heard rumblings that they're going to have that $500 model or whatever the beefy model, but then they're going to have like a $200 entry model that just does streaming.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you guys. I don't think it's going to get much crazier than 500 for sure. I know previously in a previous episode, I kind of let it out there that I was considering the fact that it could wind up being somewhere in the $800 region,
Mhm.
but that would cause. I don't even know that it would
Riots.
be. I don't think it would be riots because, I mean, if we're being real here,
Mhm.
if you gave people the option to go cheaper, like, I don't think people would be as upset about it as you would think.
Oh no!
But
If you had multiple, I think personally, if you had multiple like SKUs for it, like you're saying, if we have a huge beefy model for those people who want that PC scalable experience where they're getting 4K high frames. Here it is. It's $800 or whatever. But don't worry, you can still get in and play with us at $300 or whatever. I think people would be like, okay, cool. Like,
That's kind of where I was headed with this. But again, that's a ton of stress on Xbox and Microsoft right out the gate, like making sure they have 2 SKUs that are working, and like that does sound like a lot of work. So I don't think that would happen, but obviously it's not, because if we haven't heard anything about it, it's probably not happening. But
Mhm.
I do agree with you guys. Like right in the $500 region is probably fair.
yeah. Sorry to interrupt. You just hit on that.
No, you're
I,
good,
I
man.
I was just curious what you guys thought. But go ahead. You can continue.
I mean, besides like the crossplay situation,
Mhm.
all I'm really hoping for is like real LAN. So on Microsoft's consoles now with Xbox, one of the reasons why they lost the Call of Duty deal
Mhm.
is because they didn't implement like being able to local area network connect their devices. It was a later update that they put in through the operating system,
Mhm.
and it's kind of it's not like a legit local area network. It's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like, yeah, it's just like a mirrored LAN system basically. It just kind of makes the system trick itself into thinking it's LAN. It's almost like the Xbox Connect days where
Oh,
you
boy.
could trick your system into thinking it was connecting to another system via LAN. but
Oh,
that's
that
not actually
Xbox
the
Connect.
case.
Okay, I was thinking, I'm like, wait, what?
No, XBC.
Yes,
XBC.
XBC. I remember back in the day because that was before I was allowed to get Xbox Live. I was like, motherfucker, I could sneak in and get on here and play Halo CE with people, and I don't even have to have live. Let's get it.
Yeah, the original way to play Halo CE online.
That's right, baby. That is right. So no, but that'd be sweet. I mean, having to be able to have that possibility would be dope, and like I don't think it's that far fetched by any means, for sure.
Yeah,
So.
definitely not.
So moving into services, so we're talking like what could be offered content-wise outside of gaming. We're also talking any streaming services for gaming, downloadable services like Xbox Game Pass, where that could go. What you don't want to see with that, you guys hit me with it. Mike, you start off since Adam did last time. What do you want to see, expect to see, or don't want to see in general for streaming services and services in general on the next Xbox?
I don't really like the idea of kind of what you said, where you kind of stream the games right from a server and you don't actually have the games on your hard drive. That would be not ideal. I don't think that would be very good. So
no bueno. Definitely no bueno.
I definitely side with you there. I don't think that's
at least as the main, like, hey, this is what we're viewing as a main tenet for how you're going to access our games.
Exactly. I don't think that's very good. I don't think it will be beneficial to many people.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you're going to make a console dirt cheap and allow people to, sneak in the door at a minimum, maybe it's something that you can kind of consider at least. But yeah, I definitely don't think it should be like the mainstay, if you will, of the console.
No, definitely. Anything else to add with that? What you want to see or hope to see but expect to see, stuff like that?
Okay, so let me just backtrack a little bit on the LAN feature.
Okay.
Based on them losing the Call of Duty deal the way they did in the previous generation because they didn't have LAN on their systems, I would 100% expect them to fix this issue because they lost their identity. Like, their biggest thing coming into Xbox One was like, yeah, Halo was kind of suffering, but people were like, yeah, I'm willing to give this another go if you can kind of revive Halo. And everyone was excited about MCC. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to run tournaments on Master Chief Collection. We're going to, revive the golden days. And the system didn't even have LAN, so you're connecting online to each other, and there were so many issues. I'm just like, I'm doubling down on the fact that there has to be local area network support on the console. A solid state drive is almost required at this point. Great processor, like I said, a solid graphics card. And, I mean, let's just say, like, I hope the USB... I don't want it to kind of run on like a mirrored like Windows operating system. I think that would be really strange, and I don't know that it would work that well.
Right.
But I want it just to have like basic USB support like it does now. Whereas the original Xbox Ones had a huge issue with the disc trays not really working.
Dude, my first Xbox One that I got it home that night, put Call of Duty Ghosts in, didn't read the disc. Awesome.
Yeah.
I remember I went back there like first thing that morning because I was off that day. I was like, you need to fucking exchange this right now. I just paid $600 for all this shit.
Exactly.
And in college, I'm like, that's everything. That's all I have.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like they just need to avoid any monumental disasters with this new system where it's like they just avoid all like anything that could be so detrimental that there's like I mean, red rings of death, things of that nature, that's all unforeseen issues that obviously you can't foresee that type of failure. But like simple things as your discs being read by the disk drive, like that's not that hard to do right. Can we just like call a spade and say that like it's really not that hard to make sure your hardware fucking works? Like, is that so hard to ask?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, that's 2 launches with Xbox back to back that shit's gone wrong with the hardware not working and being defective. The red rings of death with Xbox 360 right off the bat, where literally it was like 50% of Xbox 360s that went out had the issue.
Yeah, and like people like me, like I had it like 3 times on the same Xbox and they wouldn't exchange it until it happened 3 times. So once it happened 3 times, like I was like excited because obviously I'm getting a new Xbox. So the issue won't persist anymore. Like I'm finally in the clear here. This is great. But yeah, like you just can't have shit like that happen in this day and age. You just can't.
Right. No, definitely. 100% agree. Adam, you still there?
I'm still here. So we're talking about services now, and I gotta ask, is Microsoft still collecting rent?
What do you mean?
For you to be online on their platform and play games online. Are they still collecting, like, what is it, $50 a month for gold?
Oh, no, it's not. It's like, I think it's $50 for the year for gold.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I meant to say a year. I didn't think it was that crazy.
No, but yes, you are charged to play online for, I'm sure for server upkeep and stability with that shit.
Yeah. I wish we could do away with that.
So
I already pay for an internet connection. Do I really need to play to access things that are on the internet?
No. We don't think you're getting on here to play with anyone. You give Phil Spencer that coin right now. No, it's funny you actually bring that up. Like, my point, and I'll just touch on it and let you finish. My point is very kind of in the same vein as yours, that if you're paying for it, there better be some fucking hefty, incentives to do so. But go ahead, continue.
So that's like a semi-serious one, but on a more serious note, services on the system, I have to side with Mike here. I really don't want to see the like straight streaming platform that like Stadia, for instance, is going for coming to the Xbox.
Did you guys happen to see that launch lineup for it too?
I haven't.
It's
for Stadia.
Yeah.
I haven't now.
Here, let me pull it up real quick. It is very light, and it's not like oh, you're subscribing to Stadia and you get all this. It's just you could buy your games that way through Stadia. Let me
It's only got like 12 games.
Yeah, it's 11 games. Here we go. Launch day lineup. Here are all the titles arriving on November 19th. More games available to play soon. So, we got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Destiny 2, Guilt, Just Dance 2020, Kine, Mortal Kombat 11, Red Dead 2, Samurai Showdown, Thumper, and all 3 Tomb Raider games, the new gen ones, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Right.
And those are games you have to, like, buy. It's not, hey, we're, you're getting in for this X amount a month, not like Xbox Game Pass, where you're paying a monthly subscription to download these games and have access to all these games Netflix style. You're just able to buy the game and, like, stream it, whenever you want.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's appealing to a market that doesn't really exist, because if you live in a place that has good enough internet for this to work, for you to not have terrible latency, you probably already have enough money to just buy a console. You don't need to stream it. Like, if your internet is good enough that that this could be viable, you could afford to just give it a pass. That's all I have to say about streaming consoles in general.
And I agree. I mean, I understand the like place for game or experiences like Project X Cloud or the remote play on PlayStation. Like, that's a little different to me, where it's like you already have the system and you already have the, you already own an Xbox, you already own a PlayStation 4, and you're going out on the road and you don't want to drag that with you. Here's this free option that you have that you can play these games. You can still take your games on the go, and it's a good enough service. And with, like I talked about a couple weeks ago on our bless you, by the way, as I talked about a couple weeks ago with Project xCloud, my experience using a preview build with it, it's great. I mean, Project xCloud is more than okay, like, good enough. It is very good, and it's a very viable option to be able to do that. And I understand the allure of Stadia too, of people who don't want to necessarily, I don't want to pay for a console and this and that, but you still have to buy their controller, and you can use like an Xbox One, PlayStation 4 controller, I believe, as well. But it's one of those situations where not all of, like, their controller is very specific for the games that are put out in the bindings that are set for those games. So, like, you can't always, like, some buttons I don't think you'll be able to, like, hit using one of those. So you're, like, kind of forced to buy a Stadia controller.
That's weird.
It's just, like, if you're buying that, and, like, it's one thing if you're paying a monthly subscription and as, like, just an ancillary service. And if you're not, it's like, I just can't see that as the viable, like, this is my go-to way of gaming, where it's very unreliable in terms of yeah, if I'm playing at home on a wired connection and this and that, the latency is probably pretty good because overall, I would trust Google with their infrastructure for, for network things like that, where it's like Microsoft, like they have the pit of money where it's just they're Scrooge McDucking. They have the money to back up the demand for the servers or this and that. But at the same time, it just, for me, if you're already spending $60 on the game, you're already spending another probably $60 on the controller or whatever it is, plus there's some kind of membership you do have to buy to be able to play online. You're looking at getting into like $150. You could just buy the console and then have that same experience on top of a stable experience at home. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it just
I
seems,
guess so.
It just seems to be they're seeming to push this. It's tech that I just don't think it's ready for mass consumption yet, because still the vast majority of American households don't have access to the internet that you'd probably want to have to consistently have that stable connection to justify doing something like this as your primary form. But it just, to me, it just continuously seems like an ancillary on, like, an additional, side. This is just, oh, well, when I'm out and about, I have Stadia, I guess, but even though I'm $150 in or whatever to Stadia to play these games, at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like a viable first option. So I'm with you when it comes to that stuff. In terms of, like, and that was very long-winded, I'm sorry about that.
That's fine.
It's
Service
our show. We do what we want.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck all you. If you're listening to this, I know you're listening to it because I've seen viewers go up. We're getting good data. Thank you also for doing that. But you know what? I'll tell stories about going to the fucking movie theater and people like shitting their pants there or whatever, because it's my fucking show. Actually, real quick, I didn't have as much of a crazy experience this week or this past weekend going to the movies, because we saw Doctor Sleep, which is fucking fantastic. If you love The Shining, it's not The Shining in the sense of the way it's shot and cinematography and the approach of the movie, but it is a very, very good movie in general and a great continuation of that world and that story that Stephen King built. I definitely recommend it. But I did have one kind of experience that pissed off my fiance, because she's like, why the fuck would you do that? So we get up and we get into the AMC in Greensburg, PA. We get up, we're waiting in line, and there's like a line because now they sell the movie or the tickets at the concession stands. So there's like a line wrapped around the old ticket booth, and it's very clearly that there's a line there. Like, it's one of those, like, just looking and you see people aren't just gonna wait around in a certain area to like just wait around because that's the fun thing to do when they're out at a movie theater or something. Like, you wouldn't see that at Walmart unless people are in line to check out or get something. Like, obvious. It's just one of those. It's a very obvious, like, observation to make. So we get up, we're in line, and there's like this girl who, like, she kind of comes from the side, but they were kind of ahead of us. So she like waits over, but she was ahead of us, so I just let her go or whatever. Old Boomer Boomhauer.
Oh, God.
Struts around the left side, the opposite side of the line of, where the ticket booth is. He goes around the left side, looks over, sees that there is a line, looks back at us again, and then looks back at the line and just kind of shrugs his shoulders and stands there. Doesn't walk around and get in the line. And I look at Molly and I was like, she's like, what? I said, I know what's going to happen. She's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I'm trusting you to get ready to move because I'm not letting this fucking guy in front of us. So sure enough, after that girl goes, he starts to take a step forward. Like, fuck, yeah, buddy. These fucking idiots over here.
Move, huh?
I've been living on this world for 50 years. 50 years. How long have you been here? What, 26? Oh, buddy, I've been seeing movies since you were before a glimmer in your daddy's eye. Let me tell you. And somebody actually did tell me that at work one time, one of our fans who came to a basketball game. So, anyways, but I saw him take that step. I fucking booked it like I was fucking, what's his name, from the Bears back in the day. taking a kickoff or a punt return to the house. Who am I talking? Devin Hester?
Yeah, Devin Hester was the bear.
Yeah, the one who was good at... Yeah, I was like him, fucking getting the ball. I fucking booked it. Like, somebody fucking lit a fire under my ass. Like, Mario in Mario 64, when Bowser torches him, he's like, woo! Like, I fucking booked it up there and just fucking, like, Rubbin's race and got in front of him. And the girl who was, like, getting her stuff to, like, move on, who was in front of us, was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, did I cut in front of you? And it was one of those things that I said that I'm like, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Like, I was thinking it, and it just kind of rolled out my mouth. And I said it loud. I was like, oh, no, you weren't in front, or you didn't cut in front of, you were in front of us. He wasn't. And, like, kind of pointed and
just fucking called him out.
Yeah. Like, it's, Molly just doesn't say anything. She just walks over. Like, because I had, like, already been like, yeah, we need to get our tickets printed out, and we want to get a large drink. So he set the large drink, like, cup there, and she, like, instantly grabbed it and, like, booked it over to, like, start filling out the drink. I was like, oh, I'm in the shitter. But luckily, Boomhauer didn't fucking say anything, because he did look like Boomhauer. I'm not just saying that because he was a boomer, but he was very much like, oh, Hank, yeah. Because I heard him talking to, he went to, like, the next one, still cut in front of everyone else, just went to the next one that opened up. But yeah. Anyways, I'll talk about those things on here if we want to. So, and that derailed us even more. So, anyways, but yeah.
I love your tales from the movie theaters.
I think that's going to be a staple from now on. I'll remember to, if anything comes up, any of these fucking weird and stupid incidents that happen in my life, because I deal with, for my job, I deal with people every day. I deal with the public, and it is the fucking worst. I mean, I love what I do, and it's not any of the people I work with. It's like, and they'll say the same thing. Dealing with people, 90% of them who you deal with the public are just stupid. They are just fucking idiots because they want to be spoon-fed shit, and you could tell them that the sky is blue, and they'll argue it that it's fucking tangerine colored. So, anyways, getting off topic. Services. I agree. I don't want to see a primary form. They could have streaming, whatever. Like, if you want to have that as an ancillary thing, I don't want to see it first and foremost. But the big thing that I was going to touch on is that with how Microsoft is handling Xbox Live recently, and them pushing to get you into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, where it bundles both those services for, I think it's $15 a month, which is still a good deal if you're thinking of the games alone. Like, that's great. That's still only, it costs you a couple games a year and you get access to 200 plus at any time, and there are actually, like, quality games that are on there. But my thing is, the way that they're doing that right now, they're always offering these services or these deals that are saying, hey, you can come in and you can get this deal that if you merge your accounts, you can do it for $1 and you get Xbox Game Pass for, for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate in for $1 for the next month. When really what they're doing is they're actually merging your accounts, but they're giving you, like, I lucked out. I had 12 months of Xbox Live left. I got a card or whatever for Xbox Live for 12 months that I got for, I think it was like my birthday or something like that. So I had all this time left. So I did that for when Gears 5 rolled around. Here, what they did was they merged that, and they just bought me into whatever I had left. So I don't have to pay for Game Pass or Xbox Live until my service is up. So I have that free for 9 months or whatever now, which is great. That's awesome. But they're going to start, I have a feeling with how they're wanting to get people in early on this, they're going to eliminate one of them, whether it's Game Pass or Xbox Live. They're going to make that just one entity. Like, you're going to get the Game Pass service and Live built into one. I have a feeling that's going to happen. My big thing with that is, if they're going to do that and they're going to force people to basically do that service, like, if you want to play online, you have to buy into this, kind of like PlayStation Plus. In that same regard that PlayStation Plus does, I want to see Xbox do that similar where, hey, if they kind of do it now with Gold, but it's definitely not justifiable. PlayStation, to be fair, does a really great job at this, where I want to see them, if they're forcing a lot of people who are like Mike, who say had Xbox Live for 14 years, or Xbox Live for like 14 years now, if they're forcing those people to go down this avenue and get a new service and can't be grandfathered into anything, they better offer a lot of great perks with this. Like, I want to see discount. Like, you get 20% off of all accessories you buy through us. Like, if you want to get a new controller, boom, we got you covered. We'll give you a 20% off discount on whatever the MSRP for a controller is, $60 or whatever. So you're saving $12 on your controller. Great, that's actually pretty viable. Cool. Or, you know, any game that you want, you can get the Ultimate Edition for the price of the Standard or whatever. Like, you get what I'm saying. There better be a lot of incentive for these people who have held off for so long going into different situations like that. And PlayStation has done that now because they're actually... Sony started cutting out the middleman now that you could just go through Sony to buy, if you want, Xbox or PlayStation games, any kind of controller, system, or anything where Microsoft does it now, but you're still kind of required to go through third parties and things like Best Buy and whatnot. And you can replace products through there, but it's now becoming like, hey, we're eliminating the middleman, so we can give you a better deal, but you have to do business directly through us, through our services. So if Xbox and Microsoft are doing that, great. It's still a good deal, but at the same time, you're forcing a lot of people to do this. There better be justification for this. Kind of like whenever they really started pushing Xbox Live, and you have to have gold. You can't have silver. You can't have all this. Like, you need to have gold if you want to do anything online with us. People are like, well, what the fuck? Now I gotta end up paying more for this? Like, okay, you know what? We'll do Xbox games with gold. So we'll give you a free game a month. Like, I want to see more of that stuff. Right. At least on my end. So let's head into controller. What do you guys want to see with the controller? I personally think, just kind of shooting from the hip to kind of start the discussion, I think the Xbox One, and I've said it before, the Xbox One controller I think is one of the best controllers of all time, from a feel, from a layout, from everything, the way it sits in your hand. The triggers feel great. They're really responsive, at least on my end. The one fucking thing that I can't stand about this controller, and what I pray to God Microsoft does next gen, and people have been fucking doing this for whatever now, you know, it's only been done for the past 10 years. Build an internal battery in your fucking controller. Like, let me just recharge it. I don't want to buy AA batteries. I don't want to, like...
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, how... I didn't realize we're in fucking 2004. Like... Let me run down to Dollar General and grab my AA batteries and come back here, pop them in. Man, I got them door sales. Like, no, I want to just let me be like a civilized human and fucking plug in, you know, even if, like, you can now too, and you could just plug in a USB micro cable into there. Granted, they better be going to USB-C when they move on, because that's just should be the fucking standard for everything. But it just boggles my mind that even if the battery isn't that great, I'd still take the ability to just charge my fucking controller at any time, like every other console in the fucking world does on every platform, instead of using fucking AA batteries or AAA or whatever. Like, no, just build a battery in it. Like, I don't care if it lasts like only like 6 or 7 hours. Cool, I'll just fucking plug it in and let it charge while I'm playing still. But at least I don't gotta worry about fucking buying AA batteries like I'm going out for my fucking Nintendo Wii or whatever. So, what do you guys think? What do you want to see from a controller? Do you want it to stay the same? You know, move on and do something different? Or, you know, spit the truth here. Mike, you started off.
I think, you know, at first I wasn't the biggest fan of the Xbox One controller, but over time it has gotten better. I do enjoy it a little bit more now. Overall, I agree with you. I think that just having a rechargeable battery in it is so much better that we should really be moving to that methodology. Like you said, you can plug in a cord now, but I mean, really, okay, cool, but still I have to go out and buy AA's if I want to use it wirelessly, whatever. That's stupid. PS4 already has rechargeable batteries, like, get your shit together type thing. I agree there. I just think, like, just don't go crazy, and they never really have, so I'm not worried about them going crazy. But you already have a good base. You had a great Xbox 360 controller. I just don't think you need to go wild and be too innovative with it, besides just making the technology better. And like you said, going to USB-C is imperative at this point in time. They really need to make that change.
Oh my god, 100%. I mean, because it really, it's most tech. Like I would honestly say maybe like 75% of tech that's coming out now is just being like, no, USB-C is the standard. That's what we're moving forward with our peripheral, like any use of our peripherals and whatnot. So, Adam, what do you think about, man?
Keep it simple. Just keep it basically the way it is. Give me a lithium battery with a USB-C connector. That's basically all I have to say.
Yeah, there's not much to say on the controller. Like, just give me a quality build of it, like you would expect from the actual, like, you know, actual hardware manufacturer, from Microsoft, from PlayStation, from Nintendo. Like, you're getting a good build quality. You're not getting the fucking Mad Catz controller that your little brother has been like shitting on for 3 years.
And Adam had to use all our Xbox days.
Yeah, as long as the build quality's there and the layout stays the same, at least on the Xbox end, I think it's great. You know, I've talked about before, I love the DualShock 4 controller to an extent. I hate the thumbsticks not being offset. I think offset thumbsticks are the superior way, and I hope that Xbox never changes that. I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. They've never given me any reason to believe that would happen either. You know what I mean?
No, because they've heard so much.
Sentiment.
Yeah, because they've heard so many people be like, especially on the competitive side, from like you guys. Like, a lot of people are like, I never have to worry about my thumbs knocking into each other. I never have to worry about anything. Like, it just feels natural when you grab onto that. It's just such a natural feel to it, where, you know, you never have to worry about, you know, messing with bumping a D-pad or something like that comparative to on PlayStation. You know, they're right there. Your thumbs sometimes knock into each other, or they're slipping and you're hitting a D-pad. Everything's right there for you. You know, nothing's in the way. Everything's laid out logically for the most part. So here we get to the interesting part, and I think the part that most people look forward to whenever you kind of do these, you know, what if, and what you're hypothesizing, you're looking towards the future, especially with next gen. The big thing is people want to talk about the games. Give me some good games, you know. Let's talk launch window games, and we'll stick it to, you know, let's stick to the first year. I think that's fair. Just not the first year of next gen for Xbox. What are we going to expect? What do we want to see? What would we expect to see? And what don't we want to see?
Bring FASA Studio back from the dead and make another Shadowrun FPS.
By God, from the top rope already! By God, Adam comes through from the top rope already!
Did you guys watch that video I sent you?
I didn't get a chance to.
Time yet.
I'm going to watch it tonight, though. I really do want to watch that. Because Shadowrun is fucking amazing.
One cool highlight I found out from that is that it technically wasn't the first cross-platform game. It was the first cross-platform FPS. I think it was preceded by like 1 month prior to the announcement by Final Fantasy 11, I want to say.
Yes,
that was on Windows and 360.
Yep.
But it was cross-platform almost by accident. It was something that the publisher put on them like late in the game so that they could get enough marketing dollars to like put the game in front of people's eyes. And then what it ended up being was like way less than people were expecting. They were expecting a single player campaign. They were expecting more maps, more modes, but it was just like it fell a bit flat of that.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. That would be, if we saw another Shadowrun, I think for what Shadowrun did in 2006, I think that was 6 or 7. No, 6. It was definitely 6.
Do you remember just grinding the demo?
Oh my God,
I do.
Dude. Yeah, being a broke ass bitch, like, you know, dumb little kid being like, well, I can't fucking afford this game right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they have a non-timed demo? Like, let's fucking go, doggy. You play this online? Let's go, baby. Like,
another neat tidbit from that video was that the demo population was often much bigger than the retail population.
That doesn't shock me. And I'm sure that's like a big reason why a lot of demos aren't around anymore, at least.
They failed to convert people because the value prop, like, you weren't gaining much more by buying the game, unfortunately.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, examples like that are probably why a lot of demos have kind of faded away right now.
Yeah.
But God, Shadowrun would be, because it was so advanced for its time. I mean, it was very much ahead of its time.
If any of the listeners are interested, this video I'm talking about is by, I want to say it's by the Nerd Slayer. I think that his series is called Death of a Game.
Mm-hmm. I'll make sure I put it in the description of the show so everyone can check that out. So what?
Yep, it's the Nerd Slayer Death of a Game.
So what else? What do you expect to see? What are you kind of wanting to see? What do you hope you don't see? Give me a couple different options here outside of Shadowrun, because obviously I think we all feel very strongly about that one.
I mean, obviously we're looking to see. I don't know if it's going to be ready for launch time, but like Halo Infinite.
No, it is. It's for sure launching with they.
Okay.
And they were very. That's the only game that's been confirmed for, at least to my knowledge, first party wise. That's the only game that's confirmed, like, yes, this is launching alongside our next-gen Xbox. That's straight up, this is it. So,
okay.
That is confirmed release date. It's launching alongside Project Scarlett. So that's a given. That's already for sure happening. And if that doesn't happen, there's a big fucking problem.
So that's all I got so far. I don't know what else is, like, forthcoming that would have to be on...
How about another game made by Obsidian?
See, I kind of thought about that, and I was thinking, obviously, there's going to be an Outer Worlds too, considering, one, the ability that Obsidian now has with the bank account from Microsoft and whatnot, but also, two, the sales of Outer Worlds have been fucking stellar for what they expected it to be, especially coming from 2K's private division of their smaller publishing label, that they are far exceeding from what it sounds like their expectations. So obviously Microsoft is seeing this now. I'm sure, like, fuck, we got a bona fide hit. We're gonna milk this, and especially now being able to throw more development money at them that I'm sure private division was offering, being
right.
Fucking Microsoft having deep Scrooge McDuck pockets. So no, I think that is. I was thinking about that. Could it be almost like a Majora's Mask style situation where, okay, we had a smash hit with Ocarina of Time on the N64. We kind of want to... They started doing their expansion for it, for the disk drive. That obviously, didn't go as planned, and that didn't happen. But at the same time, like, they were like, well, we want to follow up to something with this. So they basically built the game in, a year, I believe. And reusing a lot of assets and polishing a few things and changing things up and really building from what already they had. Almost what it looks like Breath of the Wild sequel is going to be on there. I think that's a possibility, especially with us not hearing a ton of, info on games that are going to be available at launch for this system. Right. Or at least in the launch window. I expect, at least on my end, one thing, obviously, that I expect with all these games to launch with, there's going to be whatever the next Call of Duty is. That's going to be a given that it's going to launch alongside that, like all of them have in the past. The next Assassin's Creed, I believe, is going to be cross-gen. From what I've heard and what I've seen, everything's indicating that it's probably going to be. In terms of actual Microsoft games, for sure, I think we're going to see the next mainline Forza. Not Horizon, but like Motorsport, the like Super Simi one. I think. Oh, you got something in your throat? You want to spit? Oh, that's right.
Forza Motorsport, Governor. Oi, where you fish and chips? You won't swing by the Forza Motorsport to get your fish and chips, oi, Governor.
Sorry.
You okay there, Travis?
Yeah, something was in my throat, man. I couldn't get it out. It was really weird. But yeah, so I'm thinking another Forza Motorsport that's going to be their sim version of that, the mainline one. That's going to be available. What I think, and this kind of goes back to a previous episode that we talked about, I think, because it's definitely in development. It's for sure in development. I know it's happening. I've seen far too much smoke for me to believe it's not happening. I expect, and this is what I'll even say in the first 6 months, I expect that Fable 4 is going to show up. I think we get Fable 4 in the first 6 months of this next.
Do you think it's actually going to be good?
Now that's totally different thing, but I think at this point Microsoft can't let it be bad, considering the exclusives that they've pumped out in the first, pretty much, to be quite honest, all of them before Gears 5 have been pretty poo-poo for the most part, at least, this gen for Microsoft exclusive first party titles for the most part, I should say. So, and knowing how hard they've been beaten on with exclusives being like, this is why people aren't coming to this system to play their games. There's no fucking exclusive games. There's no exclusive titles, anything like that for you to play on Xbox. That's why PlayStation's had a lot of success. They've had these big, super polished AAA titles for their exclusives that have just been hit after hit after hit, where Microsoft hasn't had that. So I truly think they just can't let it be bad. Now, they may delay it, and it may be the first year, or, you know, even after that. I fully expect towards the beginning of this, towards the beginning of the system's life cycle, we're going to see a Fable 4. But I would bet money it's good, or at least reviews well, and even if it's in the Gears 5 range of it's getting very favorable reviews, like 8 and above. Like, I think it's going to be a good, polished game. I just don't think they can. I just don't think they're capable, or they're able to put out that game and it be bad, bringing a franchise like this back. It's been dead for quite a while now. That I think it's enough time.
I used to think that about Halo, and then Halo 5 came.
Right, but they let it die for how long now? Like, in terms of, like, yeah, they've been talking about, and the only thing they've really been promoting of Halo, I mean, Halo 5 they still have, but, like, Microsoft's face, like, has been, like, Microsoft Xbox, the Xbox face has been promoting MCC. So they're wanting people to, like, hey, you remember when Halo was good? You remember good old Halo back in the day? Like, and then building upon that, saying, hey, we got Halo Infinite coming up, and hey, it's the old art style, or a similar old art style. Hey, it looks like we're going back to old school Halo rings. Hey, doesn't this seem like Halo Combat Evolved? You know, like, they're kind of pulling on those nostalgic heartstrings along with that. So I that's another game I just don't think they could let that be bad, because if Halo Infinite's bad off the rip, then Microsoft's going to have a really rough go again. Like, they need a tentpole franchise to come out and fucking knock it out of the park. Even if it isn't, like, even if the hardcore multiplayer isn't there right off the bat, like, they're putting all this effort into making, like, a cinematic experience with their campaign and their storytelling and all this stuff. Like, they brought over people from Naughty Dog who are known for storytelling. They brought over all these people who have worked in film and stuff that are really wanting to make this a return to form for a single player experience as well as a multiplayer experience. I just think that's one of those games, if it doesn't knock it out of the park, like, they're in trouble right off the bat, like, real trouble. So the only thing I don't want to see really that sticks out to me, the sports titles that we're going to see on top of that, actually put out the sports titles with all the fucking features. Like, if I buy Madden, say, you know, I pick up my Xbox Scarlett, and I'm like, you know what, I do want to have a sports game to break up the monotony from something I'm playing or whatnot. Like, I want to be able to play Madden. I want to be able to play a franchise. I want to be able to play GM mode or whatever they have. I want to be able to, like, do my Be a Pro or whatever it is that's in Madden now. I can't even remember. I haven't bought a Madden game in so long. But
yeah, I mean, I haven't bought Madden since, like, 2009. So.
Right, exactly. Point being, though, like, all these ones at launch, like NHL. If I want to pick up NHL at launch, like, even, like, the year after, the first NHL that was on Xbox One was very, very bare bones. And then the year after, they finally started putting some features into it. And it was like, really? Like, you're going to, a whole year? Like, it's not that hard to port over the small details with it, I guess. I don't know. That's just me. But, like, actually, they're more focused, it seems like, on making these, like, tech demos. These sports titles, like, man, look at the graphics, look at all. Well, like, put a little substance to it. If you're going to charge $60 for the game, I better get at least a little bit of substance for this. So, that's just me. What do you guys think?
Oh, you're asking me game-wise?
Yeah.
I think you already know. I want Halo to be good.
But what do you like outside of Halo? We already know about Halo. Like, what do you want to see? Like, in the first year, like, give me a title that you may not expect to see, but, like, something you really want to see. Besides Shadowrun, besides Halo, like, what Xbox title or even third-party title that could be a big one that comes over being really promoted by Xbox as you want to play this here on Xbox?
I mean, obviously PC is going to be preferred, so I would say like the Elder Scrolls 6 game. Of course, we don't know 100% when that's going to be coming out, so not holding my breath for that. But
I think that's in the first 3 years. Like, I don't think that's right off the bat. I think
Right.
now, Starfield maybe. I think that
Yeah.
title before that, I could see that in the first year. I could see that being
Yeah.
a big like showpiece for next gen consoles.
I think for me, besides Halo, I would love to see Ninja Gaiden come back as an exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see Team Ninja put something together for Xbox Scarlett.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not that, an Xbox exclusive that I would love to see. Let me
Or
dig
like
into
I said, even a third party or something like that. Like, what's something that's going to be played on next gen consoles that you would want to see in the first year that's like, man, I want to play that on my new Xbox. I don't want to play that on, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, tell me something that would get you hyped to play that you're like, man, I really want to play this on an Xbox Scarlett or something like that.
I'm kind of kicking around a few ideas. An Xbox Scarlett, what would, like, dude, I'm kind of a one-trick pony when it comes to Xbox, and I'm not afraid to admit it, but, like, a good, like, maybe a new Tom Clancy game, but get back into the Rainbow Six storyline,
Mm-hmm.
but not, like, a siege game. Like, get back into, like, the old school Rainbow Six, like, with Domingo Chavez, and bring that
Oh, fuck yeah,
storyline
dude.
back with those guys. I
Fuck
think
yeah.
that would be really special. It's something that is near and dear to my heart since I've been a kid. I've played Rainbow Six games,
Mhm.
and I fell in love with them. So I'm really hoping that something like that would come back to Xbox, and it would make me want to, keep my Xbox even more so than just like having a PC or whatever. Like getting to play it on Xbox would be a good experience, I think. Another game that kind of might be a little strange, like only on Xbox. I don't even think it really has to only be on Xbox. As far as me enjoying Elder Scrolls games, as big of a fan as I am,
Mhm.
I prefer a console experience with it. I know that
Oh, 100% agree.
You can do mods on your PC, but with the newer Fallout games, you could do mods on your Xbox for like Fallout 4.
Mhm.
Like you could get mods for Fallout 4 on your Xbox. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I mean, the Elder Scrolls for me, Halo Infinite, I hope is tremendous. I hope it's terrific. I hope it's everything that everybody wants. Gears to me is getting to the point where it's like, it's cool. It's another Gears. That's great. But NCAA, man, the new NCAA, hopefully they come out with a new NCAA game and it's a lot like the old games. And I get to have an online dynasty on my Xbox again and make that some bitch crossplay. Make make NHL crossplay and make Madden crossplay and just make everything crossplay so everyone can play with everybody and the player bases can co-pollinate, especially on Xbox. That's for sure.
Fuck yeah, dude. I totally agree. Just before I toss it over to Marshy and we kind of wrap up on this. You touching on Tom Clancy, I'd love to see. I know I've been talking about it forever. Would love to see a new Splinter Cell. I'd love to see a new Splinter Cell come back. And that's why it could be third party. It could be whatever. I would love to see. There's been so many rumblings, and recently, this past week, Ubisoft's I can't remember which account it was. I think it was maybe like their Spain account or some shit like that. Like it was a European account of some capacity. Tweeted a picture of Sam Fisher and like kind of like a quote from one of the games, like out of nowhere, and people are like, what the fuck's going on? Like hoping it, like I could see it going two ways. One, they're either hinting at a possible new Splinter Cell coming out, because Ubisoft also at their investors meetings did mention, like I saw a note on this on Twitter that they did mention, hey, we have a couple of titles in the pipe that are coming for
One of the pipe.
That are coming for both cross-gen to line up with next-gen consoles, and you'll get them on the same experience. But we're going to have a couple of unannounced projects in the works for, I think it was like 5 or something like that, for this fiscal year coming up. Or it might be it'd be next fiscal year. So launching next fiscal year in line with those. So, and then seeing a Splinter Cell thing pop up, I'm just hoping it isn't like a like Ghost Recon crossover like they did with fucking Wildlands. Like, give me a fucking... I want to be Sam Fisher again. I want to go and just fucking knock motherfuckers out and then just throw them off a balcony or something. Like,
Right.
I'm down to do that again, doggy dog. Fuck. Oh, and the last thing, I could see... Do you guys remember Elden Ring? That they revealed at the Xbox showcase this last year at E3. The one
No, what the heck is that?
So, it's a collaboration between From Software and the famed director of the Dark Souls series, Miyazaki. Yeah. It's a collaboration between him and George R.R. Martin. And they're making a game called Elden Ring. And it's really, really cool looking. That, from what I hear, it's going to change up the formula a little bit. It'll have the Dark Souls combat or that feel of it. But kind of like Sekiro did a little bit. They changed up the flow of it. But this seems like it's going to have a more RPG feeling to it. And it seems like George R.R. Martin's more in line with, like, hey, we're bringing him on to do world building and lore and things like that nature. But really look it up. I really suggest you guys look up the trailer for it. The at least the aesthetic that they're building with it seems really fucking cool. They didn't put a date on it. It was just announced at E3 last year. So I'm thinking, if we come around to E3 this year and they give us, a 2020 date or a 2021 date on it even, I could see it launching, being like a, May game or something, kind of like Cyberpunk coming out this May or April or something like that. So I would really like to see that, because I'm not a huge From Software fan, but you give me more of a actual, like, fantasy vibe than kind of like Gothic. I kind of tend to stay away from the Gothic end of that. Of Gothic medieval, but I like more high fantasy, and that this seems like it's leading more into that. And you throw an RPG thing on it, I'll give From Software games another try. So, Adam, anything to add before we wrap up on games you want to see and titles you're hoping to see or don't want to even see?
I don't think I have anything else to add at this point.
Cool.
Okay, Adam, since you don't have anything to add, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
You are one of the biggest Fable fans that I know, especially the original Fable. How would you feel about a new Fable, and what would you look for in a newer Fable game? I know you played Fable 2, and I know you played Fable 3 with me. Maybe you haven't, like, put a ton of time into it, which is, like, understandable and everything, but just give me, like, a general outline of what you'd be looking for out of that game.
For me, a good Fable mixes elements of pretty, like, fun and approachable combat and just RPG elements in general. Like, it's got to be just entertaining. It doesn't have to be all that deep or challenging. But just like in the Fable 1 style, like you tap X to swing and you have little combos. And you have a couple different avenues to attack that with melee, ranged, magic, whatever you want to do. That's the top of the triangle. The other two corners of the triangle are the, like, dry British sense of humor. I feel like that's pretty much a hallmark of Fable games. And the third corner, the third pillar of a Fable game is...
Wait. Let me guess. Creepy ass fucking faces.
No, not actually.
Damn
but
it. So that's not on purpose? They didn't mean to do that? They didn't mean to make these, like, stoic, like, booty had me, like,
Oi, governor!
faces? No, I'm totally kidding. Go ahead.
I would say the third most important thing is almost like a The Sims style. I don't know. There's something about Fable games that have always kind of jived with The Sims and other games like that just let you... It's something about the character customization, about buying houses and renting them out, and, like, being able to get married and all this other stuff where you interact with the world in a very, like, kind of just systemic way, I want to say. I don't know how else to describe this, but do you kind of understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, for sure. 100%. Well, guys, that, I think, will do it for our episode. I think we kind of set up pretty well, and I'm curious to see how a lot of this plays out, especially on the end of the hardware stuff too. That really is what sticks out to me the most. But really, I think we're gonna have kind of built a good base for us to kind of build off of and talk about what we want and whatnot over the next really 12 months. Because, like I said, we're basically a year out from new consoles, which is pretty wild. And my bank account is already starting to look at me like, don't fucking do it, you jabroni. Like, really, don't fucking go out and spend $1,000 on 2 consoles. But, you know, who needs to eat anyways, you know? As long as I got my nice TV and video games and shit like that, you know? Hunger and shit, you know? It's overrated. Anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Why don't we tell everyone where they can find you? No, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt, but Adam, to correct myself, you are correct. The definitive edition of AoE 2 is not yet released. They have pre-released to certain streamers and media members because obviously they're trying to grow the game. So it comes out on, I think, the 13th, or it was telling me in 2 days on Steam.
I knew it was like mid-November.
Yeah, so that game is coming out. It's either the 14th or the 13th. I already closed my Steam store thing because I'm currently working on letting the Reach Insider Flight install because I just got my email while we were doing the show.
Do you know what's funny? You know what's for Xbox or PC?
I got it for PC.
Oh, nice. Good shit, dude.
Yeah.
On top of that, too, I just got an email while you were talking. I pulled it up, and it's so funny you said that. Saying, I know that I was talking about not sure how long the flight was going to last. They are now extending it to the 18th, so we have it for another week. So hopefully, with both of us kind of getting in and getting a feel of it, I'm really curious now next week when we get on the show to talk about it. And just, you know, obviously us talking, you know, off the show as well. But I'm curious to see what your thoughts are and see what you'll experience on the PC end with kind of the shot registration and the delayed, you know, pinging of stuff that's going on and different actions like that are really, it's not even like a latency thing. It's just, it's really, really frustrating. But I'm curious to get your take on it as well. So, anyways, that's going to wrap it up. Mike, where can people find you at to talk about what they want coming in to next gen and what all, you know, video game shit that's going on in your life? Where can people find you?
They can find me at Toy Soldier, ToySxLDIER on the Twitter. Then you can find me at LL Toy Soldier LL on Xbox Live. And you can find me on Twitch at MP_Toy Soldier. Which I might actually, once we're done here, I might go live with the Guide in Black and continue my hard play with it.
Hell yeah, let's do it. And I'll make sure to blast that on our social. Adam, where can people find you at, my man?
You can find me on Twitter. I'll be tweeting about games and my shitty game ideas, like this one I had today. The whole game is just options menu jokes. Like, what's a funny one here? Look sensitivity. Oblivious, conscientious, self-conscious, ophthalmophobic.
Wow, you just described my mental state most times.
Subtitles off, dialogue, internal monologue.
That's great.
You can find me out on Twitter tweeting shit like this at AC_Marshy.
Nice. And as always, I'm your host, Travis White, aka Travelus on most internet platforms, including Twitter. You can find me at Travelus_, that's TRAVLESS_. You can also find me streaming time to time on twitch.tv/Travelus_, same as Twitter. And on Xbox Live, you can play some games with me and see what I'm playing on Xbox Live at regular Travelus, no underscore, that's TRAVLESS. And that is going to do it for another episode of the Game Pass Gamecast, your weekly go-to podcast for all things Xbox and Xbox Game Pass, including news, rumors, and good old conversation about them video games, because they're damn cool. You can find new episodes of the show every Friday on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and wherever else you get a fucking podcast. If we're not on there for some reason, let me know. I will make sure we get on there. So be sure to subscribe to wherever you get that to follow the show. And also follow us on Twitter at GPGC Podcast. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show and video games alike. We also are doing a ton of great giveaways, like our free game giveaway I talked about at the top of the show. And we do more surprise ones too as well. So, and we just love getting your feedback as well. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening, watching, tuning in, sharing, and just being a part of our growing community. Go out there and play some fucking video games, and we will see you next week.